Are you doing application portfolio management all wrong? I've been talking to a lot of people about APM lately, and a lot of them have got the wrong end of the stick, starting from the wrong place, putting the cart before the horse, trying to answer the wrong questions. So I'm in a Teams meeting with my friend Bob, who's a chief architect, not his real name because I don't want to embarrass him. Sometimes Bob takes my advice. We have sort of a mutual mentoring call about once a month. And what he's worried about right now is getting his APM project off the ground. And he's struggling with how to get started. And it's because he's starting in the wrong place. You know, the old story about the traveler who asks the Irish farmer for directions, and the farmer thinks about it and says, "Oh, if it's Dublin you want, I wouldn't start from here." And that's what a lot of us are doing when we try to work on our APM project. Big red flag. You've gone a long way toward configuring your tools, but you haven't yet put any dollar values on your applications. That's a good indicator that you're starting in the wrong place. A better indicator is that you're starting an IT project, not a business practice. IT projects have their place, but APM is not actually about IT. It's about business value, like everything else we do in architecture. How do you get started on the wrong foot and start doing the wrong thing and run out of gas and run out of money and run out of support long before you deliver much? You don't have a complete list of applications, so you can't start. You have a tool that you plan to use, but you don't know how it works, or it's a plugin for a platform that you already have, but you haven't figured out how that plugin works, but you do already know that all your data structures are wrong. Data types are wrong, the attributes are wrong, the structure is wrong, and you can't use that in that tool, so you have to migrate. For example, if you're trying to migrate to ServiceNow Enterprise Architecture tool, the first thing you have to do before you can use that tool is get all the data into the right form, which means that it has to be CSDM5 compliant in the way that it's structured. And if you have application tables that you've been building up in the last 5 or 10 years that aren't CSDM and aren't structured like that, you have a big gap. What should you do? Well, you need to figure out a data migration strategy. You need to train people. You need to learn the new tool. You need to spend more money. Clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. Whatever the business motivation was to support your APM project is starting to drain away little by little, or maybe if the sponsor gets a new job, now you're done. The thing is that APM is not a project, really. It's not something that you just do once and stop. It's a thing you set up and you do all the time. But most importantly, it's not really about technology. I'm going to say that again for my friends in the IT world. APM is not about technology. It is about business value and risk and expense. For the business people want APM, and it's the business-led APM practices that are successful. They want it because we are spending too much on IT, 30% over what is right for our industry. Something's wrong. Let's take out the cost. We're not doing any more work than they are, and yet somehow we're doing 30% more spending. Or we have legacy applications. We're worried about the risk of those. We know that there are things that are ticking time bombs buried in those systems, and we would like to learn more about that so we can get rid of them. That's sort of a technology question, but really it's a business question. Or you want to consolidate the applications from an acquisition and get rid of redundancy in order to save money and simplify business operations. If it simplifies the IT landscape, that's a plus, but that's not why they're going to ask for your help. The biggest reason I've heard from people about wanting APM surprised me, because I have been doing some research on this, and it is that they keep having surprise projects. They've spent 3 or 4 months fighting about the IT budget. Everybody's got their piece of the pie allocated. It's the new year, you're 3 months in, and suddenly, oh, we've just discovered that this application is sitting on a tech stack that is going to go out of support in 6 weeks. It'll be a huge risk. We have to fix it right now. Now what do? Well, you have to pull some of that money back that you approved for other things and spend it doing this emergency project, which will be chaotic, done too quickly, will certainly create technical debt, and makes everybody unhappy because you've taken their money off of them in order to get your application refreshment project done that wasn't in the plan at all. If you're in this kind of a situation where there's a real business driver and they say we have to simplify our application portfolio, we have to reduce the cost of it, we have to find ways to update it, ways to make it more modern, ways to make it cheaper, and treating APM as an IT project sounds like a good idea when the APM tool salesman is talking to you. But actually, APM is about data and it's about business outcome. So what I'm going to talk about in the next few videos is how do you launch APM now without waiting to configure a complicated tool or doing a lot of training or spending a lot of money on software licenses that you aren't ready to use, when the problem is you don't have the data, which is usually the problem. Take a simplified Agile approach. First, make a list of all the applications that you know about that are important. Not the list of applications everywhere and everyone you have, unless you already have that. Start by making a list of the important ones that you're pretty sure you're spending money on and that you have a reasonable expectation or targets for rationalization or simplification. When you have that list, start working through the list and finding the owner, the business owner. Who is the consumer of that? Who's paying for it? Who's paying the bill? Ask them, what is this for? Who are the users? How much are you spending on it that you know of? And how much do you think this application is worth to the business? And the right metric is dollars, not fluff dollars. Go and talk to the users of it, which may include external customers, and find out how they actually use it. Learn what they do. Start with that. When you have an idea of what the application is for, who the owners are, who the users are, how much they think it's worth, you can back into what the cost is. And here's the magic bit of information. Unlike the IT people, the accountants, the finance people, don't try to get everything right down to the penny. I'm going to say that again. They are happy with estimates, as long as the estimate is close to the truth. If I'm, say, in a ServiceNow environment and I'm going to do this eventually, I'm going to migrate the information to the ServiceNow platform when the tables are set up correctly, which might be in 2 years. I will then be able to connect it to the CMDB and the network and have all kinds of more details about exactly what are the parts and pieces and what's the life cycle of this thing that's 3 layers deep in the stack. But I don't have to know that to start adding value with APM. I'm going to do a few more videos on these 5 steps that are defined in this picture about how to get started with an Agile, start next week approach to getting control of your application portfolio. So stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and I will see you sometime soon.